lawyers and accountants and scientists and business owners. It matters because if you look into our schools, they're incredibly diverse. You are the inspiration for these young people. They can be anything.
Acknowledgement serve as a foundation for meaningful dialogue, collaboration, and solidarity, fostering a community that embraces as well as respects diversity and empowerment for all. So next, we're also going to be recognizing as well that we have a diverse room of people from various backgrounds in our midst today. We have distinguished guests, esteemed officials, and we recognize as well the presence of the honored dignitaries that we have in our presence, as well as esteemed government officials. So among us are individuals whose unwavering dedication to the public service have significantly contributed to the betterment of our society as well as our community here in Regina. Their tireless efforts and leadership have served as an inspiration to us all, and we're extremely thankful as well as grateful to have you in our midst. So one round of applause, please, for all of our government officials and dignitaries joining us tonight. Starting with support from the federal government, I will be bringing greetings on behalf of the Honorable Dan Vandal, Minister of Northern Affairs and the Minister responsible for Prairies Economic Development Canada, and also responsible for the Canadian Northern Economic Development Agency. On behalf of the federal government, I am honored to address everyone attending the 2024 Black Business Networking event in Regina, Saskatchewan. This gathering offers exciting opportunities to help create economic opportunities in your communities, to diversify the Saskatchewan economy, and to ensure a prosperous and sustainable future that leaves no one behind. Our support to the Coalition of Black, Small, and Medium Enterprises represents a commitment to inclusion throughout the economy and to advancing our shared interests and goals for your growing businesses. Congratulations on coming together to create such a unique and valuable experience for Black businesses and entrepreneurs in Saskatchewan. I look forward to hearing about the new connections and insights that are gained from this event. Greetings again, brought by the Honorable Dan Vandal. Thank you. So next I'm going to be as well inviting someone who many of you have had the opportunity to meet personally, whether through an email, a call, a WhatsApp message, inviting you to this event and providing you with the reason why this is important. I'm really excited to be able to bring up one of the founders of the Coalition of Black, Small, and Medium Enterprises to kind of welcome you to this event as well as provide you with some additional background on why we're gathered here tonight. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Yinka Adebule.
Thank you, BBNE. First, I want to acknowledge the presence of the Mayor, Mayor Masters, the CEO of Regina Chamber of Commerce, and to everybody present here today. Thank you for coming out. It's a great honor and privilege for our organization, the Coalition of Black, Small, and Medium Enterprises, to be coordinating the 2024 Black Business Networking event with a theme titled The Contribution of Black Businesses to Saskatchewan Economic Growth. The event also serves as the launch of the Coalition of Black SMEs. The role Black businesses play in Saskatchewan economic growth is a bit understated, but we hope that through these platforms, such as the COB SMEs, we'll be able to highlight the successes of Black businesses within Regina and beyond. One of my highlights of putting this event together was seeing the strength of our community, from the COB SMEs team members to the various small and medium Black business from different sectors, and the belief that various sponsors have in our cause. This showed me the power and strength of community within our city of Regina. I hope that this event will become a catalyst to building a stronger Black business community and creating stronger partnerships with allies within our other communities and institutions, and ultimately helping Black businesses become more successful in Regina and beyond. Thank you very much for coming tonight, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Thank you.
So one of the things that tends to bring people together of all cultures, but especially Black peoples, is food. We're really excited to be, having an amazing lineup, an amazing spread here prepared by the Connexus team. But before we go into dinner, has everyone had an opportunity to go ahead and check out the photo booth that's been out there? Show of hands. Anybody? Anybody? Okay, a couple of people. So one of the things too, as you're coming inside here, if you've had the opportunity to talk to some of the amazing team from the Coalition of Black Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, is there are raffles going on. These are not just your run-of-the-mill prizes from the dollar store put together in some little bag that you're going to forget about in your car. We're talking about prizes that are helping to invest in the Black community, which includes some investments in Black businesses, and some of the different things that we are finding tend to be gaps when it comes to Black businesses, such as being able to communicate with our communities and let them know that we even exist. So amongst some of the other raffle prizes are going to be website development opportunities for those who don't have them, as well as a number of other fun prizes. So we want to make sure that if you haven't signed up, if you haven't gotten yourself a raffle ticket, look for somebody that's wearing a red lanyard, introduce yourself, and get yourself signed up, because you don't want to miss the opportunity to win some of these amazing prizes. But before I continue on with kind of getting you guys excited for tonight's events, we also want to make sure as well that you have the opportunity to introduce yourself to people who are sitting at your table. We're going to be welcoming you to go for dinner shortly and having the staff come up and let you know when it's your table's turn to begin to proceed. But we also don't want you to just leave here as a stranger to anybody. One of the important things about building community, and we recognize the role of Black businesses participating in this aspect, is being able to make sure that you're building connections. It all starts there. When people feel connected, they feel that they have a place at home in their communities, and Black businesses serve as a cornerstone in ensuring this is possible. So before you leave here, we really encourage you to make sure that you are introducing yourself to someone new, not just the little gang that you came with from work. Make sure that you go ahead, take the first step and introduce yourself to someone, let them know what you do, let them know what you're passionate about, and let's see how things go from there. So we're gonna continue as well with some amazing music by Elevate Music that is over on my right-hand side here, and then we'll be beginning with dinner shortly. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Currently, he is the Community Outreach Director for a nonprofit organization called Black in Saskatchewan, where he contributes to the holistic growth of the Black community in Saskatchewan by addressing systemic issues, connecting members to various networks, and educating on Black experiences. Academically, he's in the process of completing his master's degree in French education. Christian has devoted an important portion of his job to cultivating relationships with staff, children, and parents of diverse backgrounds. He's dedicated his career to celebrating Blackness and addressing social issues, as well as making progress for the Afro-Canadian community. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Christian Benson.
Hi everyone, it's been a fantastic evening, and for me, it's always amazing to be in rooms like this, because for a long time, it's been hard to cultivate and create these spaces for people who look like us, and even just businesses like this, right? And so, being in the presence of people like Lost by Side, and Sky Level and Noodles, who are continuing to do the hard work and continue to do groundbreaking work to make our presence felt, make our presence known in our community, right? Which now it's being understood that it's been here for such a very long time. And Saskatchewan was established in 1905 with prairies, and there was a call to come and create. But we oftentimes forget what it looked like before, and the Reconstruction period that really determined what the treatment of Black people and communities was going to look like in North America. And so the Reconstruction period, right after slavery was abolished, it now determined the rules and the Jim Crow laws that obviously permeated through the North and countries like Canada, which we're now coming together as a community. It's not only historic, but it's changing, it's life changing. Right? A long time our people, all we wanted is an opportunity to be the best version of ourselves, to be the best versions of what we can create, what we can be, not only as people, as individuals, but as communities. And in Saskatchewan, I'm glad, like I said, I get an opportunity to be in rooms like this with people who are excited to build and continue to grow this community and also make this community a part of, Canadian history, a part of history, which I continue to tell my students is that Black history is Canadian history. And so, again, looking at the Reconstruction period for me is something that I continue to study, and the effect that it has on today's society, right? Looking at, for example, literacy tests, prison systems, voter registration, right? And so, for us, it's important that we continue to develop who we are as people. Now, after that Reconstruction period, there was two permeating ideologies for Black communities. Right? The first was called gradualism. It was invented by a guy named Booker T. Washington. He was like, of course, we were slaves prior, but now that we aren't, the best that we can do is just learn how to read and use our hands, right? Handiwork, needlework, and stay out of society. And that was a philosophy that really started to dominate within Black communities, right up until the Civil Rights Movement, where there was a call for more. And so Booker T. Washington's philosophy was separate but equal and not inclusive. He wanted us to be separate because we had to know our place in society, that we were less than, that we weren't the same as white people. But then there was another philosophy that was developed by W.E.B. Du Bois, and I believe that's a philosophy that many of you tonight are embodying by the work that you guys continue to do in your field, right? By continuing to go against the norms of society and the discrimination and the stereotypes that we continue to face. Is that you guys put your head down and you said, regardless of what we face, you guys are going to make your presence known, make your presence felt. Even though it's hard, right, to find talent, right? If you build the wall, they will come. And you guys are living examples. And so going back to W.E.B. Du Bois, he said, for us, we have to realize that we are the best versions of ourselves, and we have that opportunity to do so. And so regardless of the barriers and the systems in place, we still have to continue to strive to be the best. And so looking at today, you guys are embodying philosophies, embodying ideologies of that. And so it's just a pleasure for me to be here as a historian when I learned that the past and the debates and the fears that Black people have had and continue to have. And I see today that there are trailblazers who, despite their fears, despite what they feel, despite what they see in society, and what others may tell them, right? The Black community isn't large, it's not strong enough. You can't build a business for them. You can't build a business on that. Regardless of that, you guys have taken on the WBB philosophy and continue to strive to be the best versions of yourself. And as an educator, it's going to make a difference. It already is. Right? When students come up to me and say, are there Black businesses for this? Right? It puts a smile on my face to know that we're able to network and connect and find those opportunities to show them that there are Black leaders in the business world who are changing the game, and you guys can continue to strive also, not only to be the best version of yourself, but to be the best versions of yourself in return. Right? You don't have to leave and go somewhere else to a more populous Black community. It's already here, right? And networks and events like this allow the opportunities, not only for us to connect, right, but to show the Regina
welcoming the CEO of the Regina and District Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Tony Keegan. Tony is a proud member of the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan, and he also has an entrepreneurial and creative spirit. As an accredited business communicator, he has over 35 years of valuable strategic communications, media relations, and marketing experience from high-profile clients such as Regina and District Chamber of Commerce, Regina Bypass Project, Regina Airport Authority, Regina Public Library, which you might have seen since their booth up at the front here, SGI, the Saskatchewan Rough Rider Football Club, the City of Regina's Mayor Office, as well as the Canadian Blood Services, Saskatchewan Special Olympics, and CKRM Media. Presently, he is also the owner of Outlaw Communications and the CEO of the Regina District Chamber of Commerce. Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Tony.
Successful entrepreneurs also serve as role models for others who want to take that leap of faith and do their own thing. You are showing that anyone who is willing to put in the time and dedication can succeed. Personally, you inspire me because you chose to make a major change in your life and call Regina home. And let's be honest, it's not for the wonderful winter months we have here. Choosing to move to Regina and start a new life here has revitalized and energizes our community. This in turn drives economic growth, fosters innovation, and strengthens the long-term prosperity for all of us. It's an honor to be here and work with you to find business solutions and new opportunities. The best advice I can give you is to take advantage of every networking opportunity you can. Networking creates new relationships, both personal and professional. I found that networking can lead to new career opportunities, business partnerships, alliances, and small business growth. You can also discover money-saving opportunities, chances to share staff, resources, and increase your purchasing power. Regina has a very hospitable and open-hearted business community. We enjoy helping others find success. Together, we can continue developing an environment where entrepreneurs and their families can flourish and make meaningful contributions to the community. Make no mistake, you are the future of this city. This city needs your energy, your creativity, and your entrepreneurial spirit. Overall, Regina has a blend of economic opportunities, affordability, family-friendly amenities, safety, and natural beauty. This is what makes it so attractive for individuals and families looking for a higher quality of life in a welcoming community. But one of the main reasons Regina is an awesome place to live is our civic leadership. I can honestly tell you, I have never met anyone more enthusiastic and passionate about our city. Our leader embraces the spirit of business, and she has a spirit and a vision of greatness for Regina. Please join me in welcoming to the podium my friend and your mayor, Sandra Masters.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. I have to say that the Coalition of Small and Medium Enterprises in Saskatchewan, I think there were early conversations, Inka. I do believe when I was meeting with some local entrepreneurs and we were discussing the ability and the opportunities for networking and the opportunities for connecting into the services that might be supportive, everything from understanding the legal system and to how do we get connected with folks to let them know we're here, how do we build clientele. And I think this was born of that idea that you gather together an association, you create, I love the word coalition, to be stronger together. I think that's, so congratulations. And to pull this off inside of, I'm not sure how many months, so just to everyone who helped organize this, to your leadership, these are not easy things to bring together, and so just outstanding for you. Vivi, I just want to say thank you so much for the land acknowledgement. Beautifully done, and I appreciate your sharing the Afro-centered land acknowledgement, which we don't hear, frankly, enough of when I'm hanging out. I have the privilege of being mayor in Treaty 4 territory, and it is an unbelievable privilege and honor to be a mayor on these lands that have been stewarded for centuries, thousands of them, hundreds of centuries, thousands of years. And so We have to get right with our original relationship. We're still working on that. But I think in that journey of getting right with original peoples will make us stronger with all people. It's my belief. On behalf of my City Council colleagues, as well as the City of Regina, I am incredibly pleased to connect with and celebrate Regina's Black business community. I've been watching the advertisements come up as they were going, and I'm like, oh, Kendi, I have a dress from there. I don't fit in it anymore, but I have a beautiful dress from Kendi Boutique. And my daughter has some beautiful earrings from there as well. Timothy Ju, as a real estate agent, when we were looking to, I appoint the committee, I appoint the board of directors for the Regina Housing Authority, and so kind of tapped him on the shoulder at an event and said, how do you feel about serving on a board of directors? And he, of course, agreed. I have a beautiful jacket on from a new business, Fini Couture, which I believe is at the Southland Mall. Please, Caleb, correct me if I'm wrong. But there's something that strikes me, and I had kind of responded when I was doing an interview about why an event like this is important, is the absolute bravery and fierceness of spirit it takes to establish a business, to build a business, to celebrate a business is something that I've never done in my life. And I'm somewhat in awe of it. In fact, it terrifies me. I don't mind telling you. Public service is easier to me than being an entrepreneur. And you can just imagine, if you read media stories, what I mean by that. But the way that cities are built, the way that communities are built, are by individuals with that bravery, and Tony kept touching on it, the creativity to have an idea, to bring that idea to life in community. And so I often talk about communities within communities, and this is an unbelievably fierce and spirited and what's the word? Joie de vivre. Like there's a life in your community which only makes our city stronger. I am so grateful that you have chosen to build these businesses here, that you do events like this to build and invite in others into your community. We need to get better at being aware that those invitations go both ways. And so, Tony, I appreciate your leadership at the Regina Chamber of Commerce in terms of outreach to ensure that when you want to meet new people, you're at the events where you can build clientele, build those relationships, because it is in that we gain strength. I do also want to recognize African Black History Month, and Christian Banza, thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you. Carol, you're here, right? Where are you? Hi, Carol. In terms of leadership and grace and outstanding performance throughout your life, I'm always so proud to tell people you're from Regina. Just so you know, part of our history. And I think it's something that's forgotten, and that's our fault. That's not anyone else's fault. It's just somehow forgotten, and you said it best, Christian. Black history is Canadian history. And we forget about the effort and the work and the heart and passion that's been poured in since inception from our Black community into what makes this city great. I'm always so tickled when I talk about, because Saskatchewan, for example, or the city of Regina, we may not be known for diversity, for whatever reason. And yet when I travel and I say, well, actually, 24% of our population, is a full quarter of our population is not of Ukrainian or Scottish descent. It's something else. But for those of you who are new or newer in the last 5 to 10 years, I am incredibly grateful as the mayor of this city that you chose here. And as Tony said, it's not because it's warm here right now, although it's not so bad for winter here. But the fact that you've decided to be here and to raise your family here, and Christian's right, and I know this because I get feedback all the time, being a woman mayor, that young girls, it means something different, although I will tell you that it means something different to young boys too. My favorite story recently is a woman came up to me and she said, my son is in Scouts and he's 6 years old. And I had gone to talk to the Scouts and the Eagles and had taken questions from them. And afterwards, apparently, her son leaned into his friend and said, can boys be mayor too? Sure they can. And so in terms of owning businesses, frankly, being professionals, volunteering on the board of the Chamber of Commerce, thank you, Wura, but lawyers and accountants and scientists and business owners, it matters because if you look into our schools, they're incredibly diverse. You are the inspiration for these young people. They can be anything. They can do anything. They've got an idea, they can drive for it, and they come from a lineage who has ideas and who drive to succeed in those things. I just want to say that, in terms of Black History Month, this is an opportunity to celebrate the contributions, to recognize the challenges that have been overcome, that continue still, and to reflect how we can continue to work on this. So again, I'm going to say, for you to pull this night off, to bring folks together and continue to show up at events like this, I think is just an advertisement or a shout out to the future of what is possible in our community. I just cannot think of a better way to do this than to be here. We are growing as a diverse city. I do believe we're a good place to start and grow a business. In some respects, here in our city, you kind of get access that you don't maybe get in a Toronto or a Vancouver. You want to talk to the president of the university? You could probably get a meeting with him. You want to talk to the police chief? You can probably get a meeting with them. You want to talk to the mayor? You can probably get her to come out to an event or have a meeting with her. And so we have something about being a big little city or a little big city that means your connection into people who want to help you, who want you to succeed, who understand that your growth means our growth, the city's growth. That's really what we're all about. You don't become a name, you don't become a number. You're a contributing member, and we love when folks put their hand up and want to improve and share their talents with, by the way, to the band. Wow, well done, thank you. Yeah, wow. I got asked if I dance, the answer's no, just so we're clear. That's a no, but I'll clap and cheer. But that's just it. It's like the richness of culture, the richness of tradition, the unbelievable rice we were served tonight. Thank you so much, the first time I've had it. Yes, and way to push to have that on the menu. Thank you very much. And I know there's a restaurant. I hope there are more. And so anything that we can do, we want to be champions for the community, which means we want to be champions for you. And so you want help, we'll come out. I won't wear the Kendi dress, as I said, it doesn't fit right now. But to restaurants and to businesses, to give you shout outs, to celebrate, to amplify, to invite you to events, to mingle. I think you're way more places and have way more presence maybe than it's going to surprise some people. You're going to get to know people that you work with better here. There is community support. Ask. I love that Dan Vandal sent a message. Minister Vandal is a wonderful human being, but prairies can. It's, WESC, it's Women Entrepreneurs of Saskatchewan, it's the Chamber, it's economic development, it's a tech hub, if that's your gig. There are places, if you just, sometimes we don't think to ask, and so if you ask, there is help. People will help you find your pathway here. We always punch above our weight. It's just a thing we do. And we do that because of the power of people, power such as yourselves, and that strength and that hard work. We are, Tony kind of laid it on a little thick, I'm not gonna lie, in terms of being a business-friendly city. I understand that jobs mean people can thrive. You can pay for your kids to go to cool activities. You can pay to go to everything from a pub to a concert to a movie to Mexico. And so it's the jobs that drive our ability to thrive and our ability to connect. And so we have work to do. I think sometimes because we are Regina and we're landlocked in the middle of this vast country, that we have to be better than everybody else in those things that we do. And that's my commitment, is just let's always try to be better. Let's try to make this easier. Let's try to allow people to succeed as best we can. We know that a strong a business community means a strong community, and a diverse business community is, again, I think we punch above our weight due to it. But it's not just business. It's actually the business of the culture and the creativity and the creative arts. I know Creative Saskatchewan was a big supporter tonight, but it's the music, it's the food, it's everything. And I just, again, I'm so deeply grateful that you share with us, and that and please keep being proud, because I'm so incredibly proud that you're here.
You can search them up on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube, and that is at ELEV8_MSC for more amazing music. So thank you so much again for sharing your talents with us, as well as shout out to Mr. CEO Tony Plater. I think we're going to have to come and recruit you for some more choreography some other time. And thankfully, we've also found the owner of the keys. So thank you so much, everyone, for your attention to that aspect of the night. Next up, I'm really excited as well to welcome our next speaker. So our next speaker is Ms. Ronke Shakirat Edoho, the visionary behind Atari Group, which encompasses renowned brands such as Naija Foodie, Lose It Nigerian, Jollof Code, and Atari Foods. And she is a trailblazer in the culinary world. Her remarkable journey began with a food blog that served as a platform to enlighten global audiences about the richness of Nigerian and West African cuisine. Through this endeavor, Ronke not only aimed to showcase traditional recipes, but has also sought to employ modern techniques to document and preserve these culinary treasures. It was her groundbreaking work on Lose It Nigerian that sparked a profound awakening, particularly among Nigerian and African women, regarding the significance of embracing indigenous traditional food as a source of wholesomeness as well as nourishment. Ronke's pioneering efforts have propelled a growing consciousness about the inherent value of local cuisine, and also challenging prevailing misconceptions and fostering a renewed sense of appreciation for the nutritional benefits of traditional African fare. Today, Ronke Edoho's Atari Group stands as a testament to her unwavering dedication to promoting and celebrating the cultural heritage of African cuisine, with brands again like Naija Foodie, Lose It Nigerian, Jollof Code, and Atari Foods. And she continues to inspire countless individuals to explore and savor the diverse flavors and culinary wonders of Nigeria and West Africa. Please welcome to the stage, Ronke Shakirat Edoho.
I'm not as nervous because the room is half empty. So there. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm going to try to show my slide, so just bear with me. Just trying to see what mode this is in, and the light is right in my eyes. Okay, that's not working, so I'm just going to disconnect my slide and talk without the slides. Anyways, good evening, everybody. Like it was said, my name is Ronke Shakirat Edoho. I am the founder of Atari Group. All night I've had like jitters, and you can probably tell from my voice that it's a bit shaky. And I think this is because this is kind of like the first time that I'm having a talk on home turf. So if I mess up, I still get to see some of you tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, and the day after. So it kind of just goes on. I can't leave it down. If I was in Toronto, I'm on my flight, I'm gone. I don't have to see them. When Yinka told me that he wanted me to have a talk, I was like, okay, what do you want me to talk about? And he said, just speak on the roles of black businesses in Saskatchewan. And I was like, okay, what do you mean? It's like, okay, we contribute to economic prosperity. I want you to speak to that. And I said, so you want me to go up there in a room with maybe hundreds of people and just brag about myself? And he said, yes, just do that. That is exactly what we want you to do. So here is 10 minutes of you listening to me bragging about myself. My journey in Saskatchewan started about 20 years ago. I moved from Lagos, Nigeria, to go to the University of Saskatchewan. See, it was my first time on a plane. It was my first time anywhere where it wasn't hot. It was my first time outside of my father's control. And I like to say that it was the coldest December night on record. I'm lying, I'm just exaggerating, but it felt that way. That night when I arrived in Saskatoon, I didn't know anybody. It was my first time, like I said. I didn't know anyone. But somebody picked me up from the airport. His name is Kurt Tischler. Kurt Tischler was the then president of the International Student Office, or the International Student Office at the University of Saskatchewan. I didn't know him from Adam, just like I said. It was cold. I had my light jacket that I brought from Lagos, you know, the one you go to Teju Show to buy. I had the hat, the cool one with the side thing. I stepped outside of Saskatoon Airport and I started to cry because I felt like my dad wanted to punish me for something. Why would you send me here? I have siblings in the States. I have siblings in the UK. Why? I couldn't even say Saskatchewan properly. But this person that picked me up took me to where I was supposed to go, which was the university residence that night. We got there and the doors were locked. You couldn't get in. He's like, oh, did you make a special accommodation? Special accommodation for what? He said, well, it's the Christmas break, so there's no one here until after Christmas break. I didn't know that, so I didn't make any special accommodations. So this stranger, on a night where I felt cold, I felt sad, and I felt lost, called his wife and said, I have a teenager here. She's supposed to be resuming at the U of S. She has nowhere to go. Is it okay if she stays with us for a bit? So he took me home, and he said, what do you want to eat when I got to his house? I said, I would like a bowl of cereal. And he gave me cereal with the 3.25% milk, if you know the one that I'm talking about. And I wailed. I didn't cry, I wailed because it tasted so strange. Like, this is milk? Do you have pig milk? He said, what is that? I said, do you have Nido, maybe cowbell? He said, what is that? Anyways, this stranger took me home and accommodated me and fed me with all of my strange requests until it was time for university to open, and it took me back to residence. You people, if you are talking, I will stop. I will let you guys go on and then we'll continue. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. So it took me back to university resident, and that was my story in finding a connection, finding somebody who charted a path for me on a night when I was cold and I felt lost. And you're thinking, why are you telling us this story? I know some of you are thinking about it. The point is, in life, as it is with business, you might find yourself in a strange space where you know nobody, you don't know the lays of the land, but it takes one person who believes in what you're trying to build to help you chart a path to where you need to go. So that is the backstory of how Ronke got here. Now, moving forward, I got my degree at the U of S, Business Economics, honors. My daddy likes to say that to everyone that cares to know. I got my accounting designation after that, and I work in municipal and provincial government for about a decade. Now, food has always been a part of my life. I've always loved food. While everybody around me wanted to be doctors and nurses when I was growing up, I wanted to be a farmer. But as a lot of you can probably attest to, you are a girl, you are from Nigeria. What do you mean you want to be a farmer? You can be a doctor, you can be a nurse, you can be an engineer, and those are the options, okay? You can maybe be an accountant, so that's not too bad too. But a farmer was not something that you could be, at least not at that point. But I was interested in food. So throughout the time that I was in university, when I was working, I had this side food blog where I talked about food. I talked about the history and the cultural richness of what it is that is West African food. That little food blog from my dorm room in Athabasca Hall at the U of S, go Huskies, was featured in the New York Times. I did work with BuzzFeed, and it went on to become something out of absolutely nothing at all. That food blog led me to my businesses. So I like to say that I run a small, made in Saskatchewan or made in Regina, actually made in Saskatchewan is what I should say because my Saskatchewan people might be listening, made in Saskatchewan company. In that business, we have two divisions. We have Lean and we have Atari Foods. Lean Health was founded out of a need to help people that looked like myself get better nutrition services. So what we do at Lean is that we look at culturally relevant nutrition and we apply it to lifestyle-related diseases like obesity, hypertension, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes. The idea is there shouldn't be anything that you're dealing with where you really have to navigate away from your culture foods or the food that you grew up on. This doesn't just help people feel like they belong, it also helps with adherence. And in this small business where we serve customers continuously in over 80 different countries, we contribute to the healthcare system by reducing reliance on medication. We provide jobs in and outside the province, and we contribute significantly to the tax base year over year. Thank you. And just about a year ago, I launched our product business, which is called Atari Foods. Atari is a company dedicated to adding more flavors to the landscape, more spiciness, and just more spice in general. And we produce using a mix of international, locally sourced, and prairie-grown ingredients. In less than a year, we have been able to serve customers in all 10 Canadian provinces and one of the territories. So if there's anyone in the other two, please let me know so we can serve you as well. Our product have also reached 40 of the 50 states in the United States of America. Our contribution isn't just revenue and taxes. It's how our success impacts the success of other businesses that we have to deal with. So I think about every production run where hired staff get to produce a product, equipment managers get to run the equipment and get paid. Every shipment that goes out, we pay for packages. We work with partners like Canada Post and ICS. All of this creates a ripple effect in the economy that every single time we have a production run, it literally generates tens of thousands of dollars in economic impact, not just in the city, but across the country as a whole. So, it would be unfair for me to speak on all of these successes and not speak on the inherent barriers that Black businesses face. From discrimination, to lack of access to capital, to limited networking within existing systems. As a community, it is a joint responsibility to address the known systemic issues and create an environment that allows Black businesses to thrive. Whether we like it or not, diversity in business ownership brings forth a diverse range of products, services, and ideas, which is a catalyst for innovation. More successful Black businesses mean more creative solutions to societal challenges, and we know that there are a lot of those. And to end this, I would like to say that I am not a unicorn. I am not a unicorn. I am not an exception. I am what is possible and what is the norm in the presence of equal opportunities for every single person in this room. I look out here tonight, and I saw all of the things that were going on the slide. And I think about the incredible business owners in our community and what they've been able to build. I think about my friend Doyin, who runs Settle Easy SK, a settlement agency that helps to connect new immigrants into the Canadian system. I think about my sister Florence, who runs InfoPlace Canada, an immigration agency that helps to reconnect families. I think about my big auntie Jimmy of GMK Accounting, who has an accounting firm that helps SME set up and thrive. I think about my friend Bernice, who owns Customer Culture Intelligence, an ag company that is dedicated to helping Saskatchewan farmers grow better crops. Like I said, I am not a unicorn. There are lots of smart, brilliant people in our community. And what it takes is for one person who understands the lay of the land to help you on a night when you're feeling cold, lost, and afraid. Thank you guys so very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Ronke. As somebody who's grown up in Regina, has seen droughts where there have been times where it could feel like there haven't been any Black businesses in sight, or at least not any that we can go to without having to wait for 5 to 7 business days for things to ship. It's amazing to be able to have you as part of our Saskatchewan community. Can we please give another round of applause for Mr. Ronke? So going into the next piece here, as we mentioned, there's been so many different types of individuals who have contributed to the landscape of what it means to be in business within Saskatchewan, and specifically Regina. So we're excited to be able to introduce a panel of various entrepreneurs and business leaders in their own right to be able to come and speak with us. Leading this panel with our panel anchor is Ms. Wura Da Silva. Wura is a corporate commercial lawyer in the Regina office of Miller Thompson LLP, and her practice focuses on mergers and acquisitions, corporate reorganizations, corporate governance, banking, and finance. Please give a warm round of applause for Ms. Da Silva. And as we continue on with the rest of, bringing all the rest of the panelists, we'll be introducing both Stephen O'Reilly. Stephen grew up in Saskatoon, but spent his high school years living in Nashville, Tennessee. And his past experience consists of music industry, event management, and marketing. So we're excited to be able to hear from them as well. So we'll just continue to introduce the rest of our panelists as we welcome them up onto the stage here. So you can come up and join us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vivian. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It's going to be an awesome panel here and an awesome session. My name is Wura Da Silva. I have the pleasure of moderating this panel session. You've already heard from Tony, who's the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. You've heard from the phenomenal Ronke Doho, who's the CEO of Atari Foods. Stephen, who's the CEO, Director of Sask Startup, and then Paul, who's a manager with RBC. Thank you very much for being here. So I'm going to start with you, Ronke, because You've lived in Saskatchewan longer than you've lived in your home country, because you said you got here 20 years ago. Why have you stayed in Saskatchewan?
Hello, hello. You're gonna hear my voice again, hey? Why have I stayed here? I would say that aside from the amazing cold, I just love the cold. It helps with my skin, so that's awesome. I would say that it's the people of Saskatchewan. And I will tell a story about how I ended up at the U of S to begin with. I had the option of going to the U of T. I got in. Then it wasn't so hard to come to Canada. And I got into the U of A, and I got into the U of S. And I chose Canada because I didn't want to live with any of my siblings. That's how I ended up here. Anyways, I would ask the most random questions. I went to boarding school in Nigeria. I didn't really understand how things worked, really. My dad just said, apply to school, and I did that. So I would have conversations or send emails and ask these questions. And the lady at the U of S would answer me like it made sense. Like, thinking about the things I was asking now, I'm like, why was she answering me? But she would answer me with so much kindness that it was easy for me to choose University of Saskatchewan. And I think that is reflective of what Saskatchewan is. I think it's just the people are kind, and when you need help, most times, they will give you that help. And it's also like, Mayor Sandra Master said, it's easy for you to get into conversations with people who make decisions. So that's why I've chosen to stay, aside from the free skincare.
Awesome, thank you. In a minute or two, probably 10 minutes or 20, we're going to address the elephant in the room, which is discrimination. So hold your thought for a moment, and I will turn to you, Tony. Before then, I just want everybody to know that you've got a couple of pencils at your table, and there are some papers. So if you have any questions, please feel free to scribble something underneath, behind one of those papers, and the ushers would go around, or you can just wave at some point towards the end. We're going to take questions. Tony, I want to ask you, in your role as the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, Regina and District Chamber of Commerce, and also just in all of the other organizations that you've worked, what has been your observation about the contribution of Black entrepreneurs to the Saskatchewan growth?
First of all, I want to thank you for being the vice chair of the Regina District Chamber of Commerce.
Woohoo!
Next year, Laura will be our chair, and I'm really looking forward to her leadership, as you see tonight, and how she can help us move business forward. That's a great question. I think the diversity side of the business community is really valuable to our growth, and for us to be able to embrace new ideas and come together to face those challenges and help with those discriminations, and at some point be able to dissolve those so that the people coming behind us don't have to face those challenges and can just focus on what's important, and that's business and growth and having a very high quality of life here in Regina.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Tony. Stefan, in your role as director of Sask Startup, you interact with different businesses, particularly startups. In your experience, what has been the contribution of diverse entrepreneurs to the Saskatchewan economy?
Yeah, thank you for that. Bonjour tout le monde, and hello. Being the director of SAS Startup Institute, we see probably over 1,500 startups a year from diverse backgrounds. And just over supper at our table, we were talking about how lucky we are to live in Saskatoon and Regina, and really in the province of Saskatchewan, because pretty much anything that you do has high potential to make great impact in the city and move the city forward in a great way. And just proof Ronke with her story, just how much of an impact she's been able to make. And I'm going to dive into some stats. We actually just released a State of Entrepreneurship report earlier last year. And there's over 42,000 small businesses in Saskatchewan, and that makes up about 98% of businesses in Saskatchewan. So Saskatchewan is built by small business, and 55% of those are actually businesses of 1 to 4 employees. So I say that for the reasons that you don't have to start a business and aim or shoot for 50 employees. Businesses, whether you're solopreneur or 1 to 5 entrepreneurs, those are the types of businesses that build the backbone and the foundation for our economy here in Saskatchewan. So any industry is available to you. There's tons and tons of opportunity here, and there's amazing people in the room here that are here to support you through that journey.
Thank you. So now that we're talking about numbers and data, do you have any data on Black businesses in Saskatchewan or in Regina in particular? Is there some kind of rough numbers or percentage of what it constitutes of the 15,000, of the number that you've just said?
Yeah, fantastic question. Unfortunately, I don't know the number of Black-owned businesses, but we do know in terms of businesses owned by visible minorities, it's about 9.1% of Saskatchewan's private sector, which is actually well below the average, the national average of about 19%. So that meaning there is tons of opportunity, and I think it takes all of us in the room, even us service providers, to help that move forward, and great examples and leadership like we've seen kind of countless times tonight. So there's a lot of opportunity for growth, and I think we have the people in the room and the community to make that happen.
Thank you so much, Stefan. I realized I was wearing my lawyer hat because I was going to ask you, how do you collect your data?
To be honest, I can't take credit for it. We have a fantastic colleague, Tyler, who's our manager of economic intelligence, and it's all his work in compiling that data. My focus is on delivering services and programs and connecting with entrepreneurs to help them, take that dream or that idea that they have and help them through that journey of starting it and contributing to the community.
Thank you so much, Stefan. We'll come back to that conversation about the journey of entrepreneurship. Paul, in your role, you interact with various diverse businesses. Do you have any success story or experience or, some, maybe even like a regular interaction about a diverse business that you feel like this is something worth sharing with this group? Just in the course of your day-to-day work, any notable success story in terms of a diverse business that you've worked with?
Absolutely. There's a lot of success stories out there, and majority of those business owners like to stay private. And as a banker, there's confidentiality that we have to, acknowledge in these relationships. But the key thing I've noticed, especially with Black business owners, is the ideas they bring to the table. They come into a community that is foreign to them, that is strange to them. They're trying to adapt, and then they're noticing challenges in this community. They're noticing the needs of the people in this community, and they're creating very unique ideas and bringing it to the table. Unfortunately, sometimes it's difficult to get these ideas off the ground, right? But I have seen some of them struggle with it and been successful to an extent right now. So I would say they definitely bring something unique to the table in this case. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. Ronkel, I'll come back to you. Paul has said that diverse business owners bring something really unique to the table. And I know, and I've shared this with you, that your products save me a couple of minutes in the kitchen, help me to make delicious meals for my family. And just the fact that you give me a taste of home, miles and miles away from home. And so in your entrepreneurship journey, what are some of the things that you experienced that you can say that, these were aha moments, and I would want to share that with other entrepreneurs, maybe just in the course of doing your research or your ability to leverage certain network? Just wanting to know a little bit about your journey, especially your brand, which I do know that you have over 500,000 followers on social media platforms. You can follow at Atare Foods. You can follow at Ninja49, JAFOODI. Let's move it to 400,000 on Instagram, because right now I think it's 365,000 followers.
I love the plug.
But just wanting to know a little bit about, I want you to please share an experience that you would like to have people here go home with or remember about, like, your journey as an entrepreneur, something that stands out.
Thank you so much for that. It's not overwhelming at all. Honestly, I think that I have different experiences that I can touch on, but I would say that in terms of like leaving something with people, you are the expert in your business. It is not the person telling you no. You are the person who had a dream. You are the person who wrote the business plan. You are the person who understands fully how to monetize that business. People might think, well, I think it's going to take you 10 years to break even. If you think it's going to take you 3 years to break even, prove it to them. Don't just say, well, I can't do this because this person who is supposed to be this knowledgeable person told me I couldn't. When I was buying my first home, the real estate agents told us, you need to buy insurance. That's what she said. Something like that, right? And I believed it, because she was somebody who knew something more than I did in the space. But I didn't need to buy insurance. I just had to do a little bit more research in order for me to realize that I didn't need to buy. So when it comes to something that is yours, an idea that you've birthed from nothing, you are the expert in that business, and don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you. Tony, in your role as the CEO of the Chamber, I'd like to know just what opportunities exist for Black entrepreneurs, not just in Regina, but also in Saskatchewan as a whole.
Our job is to help people connect. So we would take any business and have them connect with other business owners, with the community, community leaders. And I think that our role is to make sure that we're helping them find the right people to help them succeed. Whether it's people on this panel, whether it's civic leaders like Mayor Masters or our MP Warren Steinley, who they may have questions to. Our job is to help them form those relationships, connect them, and then get out of the way so that they can form those relationships themselves and have that special working relationships that's going to move them forward.
Great, thank you very much. I can see that there are meetings happening behind the room. Gentlemen and gentle ladies, is that a thing? Thank you very much. So kind of you. Thank you.
That's why she's going to make a great chair.
Oh my God. Thank you, everyone. Honestly, I appreciate it. Thank you. There will be opportunity to network at the end of the event, or you can take the conversation to the back of the room, not this room, but outside there if you would like. Thank you very much. I appreciate that everybody is paying attention. Paul, I'll turn things to you, Paul. Yeah. So you work in the financial services industry, and we know that we need money. Every business needs money to advance, to scale, to start even. There are many small and medium-sized businesses in this room, and there are even people that are thinking about starting their own businesses. What would be your encouragement, or what would be the thing that you would share with them about setting their business up for financial success, making sure that whatever structure that they have, whatever plan that they have, whatever partnerships would set them up for success? What are some of those things that you can share in terms of how businesses can scale and set themselves up for success?
Thanks. First of all, come talk to me. So there is a lot of, the bank RBC has done a lot to provide financing, especially to Black entrepreneurs and startups, right? And one of them is the Black Entrepreneurship Loan Program with RBC, and there is some other ones that RBC has partnered with BDC and FACE. So FACE is the Federation of African Canadian Entrepreneurs or something like that. So there is a lot of programs that is available, right? You just have to find those programs, and the best bet is to come talk to a banker. You know, we would direct you, we will listen to you and direct you to the right place you can get your financing from. That said, I just want to address a misconception that I've come across with interacting with a lot of Black entrepreneurs is they feel it's a right to get financing. It's not a right. It is your duty to prove to the bank why we should finance you. You know, write that business plan, be detailed about it, have your reasonable expectations of what your revenue is going to look like. Don't just throw out numbers. I'm not smart, but I have an army of smart people that work with me. They would go through your business plan and pick holes in it. So be sure what you're talking about. And in terms of partnership, the main advice I give to business owners is this: create partnerships that drive value. As a business owner, there are 3 key partners you should have, and some of you must have heard me talk about this. You should know a lawyer, you should know an accountant, and you should know a banker, me. Now, the reason why I say this is, we bring a lot of free advice as your friends that you could have paid for with a consultant. You know, you could easily call me up, take me out to lunch, and pick my brain on some ideas that you have.
Are you asking for a free lunch?
No, I'm just asking for a chance to build some connections here.
Who's paying for the lunch?
So that is it, right? Create those valuable connections and pick their brains, you know, and get ideas from them, you know. Typically, for you to see an accountant, to see a lawyer, you're being billed by the hour. But if you have a friend that is an accountant and a lawyer, you can easily run ideas off of them. And also, you can leverage their network. Those 3 persons are in the business of having a large network of people. And you could easily tap into their network to get your connection. For example, the value that I bring to my clients and the people that know me is, if I can't solve your problem, I'll give you a name that you can talk to. I would connect you to my network if I can't solve your problem. And definitely, you would find a solution somewhere. So we need to have, business owners need to have this at the back of your minds, you know, create relationships that drive value.
Thank you so much. That's excellent. So, Stefan, I'll come with you in a second here just to talk about the kind of structure that a business should have, or how a business should make sure that the foundation is properly set. But before I come to you on that question, just about like starting the business, you know, all the things to consider, I want to pick on something you said there, where you said that it is not your right as a business to get a loan. Well, if I am paying interest, right, it is a mutually beneficial relationship. Why do you say that it is not a right to get a loan? Can you demystify that for me?
All right. The reason why I say that is some startups that have approached me has been like, why can't you guys finance us? Right? And I've taken my time to educate them what the bank looks at, you know. So cash is king, right? Cash repays loan. If you don't have the revenue and you're telling me to fund your ideas, how are you going to repay me? What if the idea doesn't work? You could have all the security, you could have $1 million house, and you're taking out a $200,000 loan. It doesn't mean anything if you don't have a revenue, right? And they also need to understand that businesses have life stages, and at each different life stage, you know, there's different types of funding that is available to them. So for startups, the key sources of funding is usually their assets and savings, and also the family members and their friends before you get into venture capitalists, right? And those ones are like, if you think the banks charge a high interest, try dealing with a venture capitalist, So when that business grows beyond a startup and there's some revenue coming in, then come talk to us and we can help you kick out your friends and family and the venture capitalist and then give you back full control of your business.
Excellent. Thank you. That's really eye-opening. I like the perspective you share about cash being king and giving the bank something that it can work with, not just the ideas or the structure, but just also telling them that you have a skin in the game, and that's your ability to generate revenue, and that's usually what they want to see. I will stick to financing questions for you, so we will be back. Stefan, so what does SaaS startup do? And also back to my earlier question about what are the considerations for a new business? How do you determine if a partnership is the right thing or if an incorporation is the right thing? Or sole proprietorship, do you pay GST? Do you need a GST account? Do you help with all of those initial discussions? Pretty much, what do you do? How do you support businesses? And how do you help them with those conversations about having the right structure from the beginning?
Yeah, absolutely. And to answer all your questions is yes. So at SaaS Startup Institute, we're a provincial-wide program, and our mandate is to support entrepreneurs in the startup phase. So all entrepreneurs in all industries. So we're essentially your first stop on your journey of entrepreneurship. So we're a nonprofit, so that means all of our services are free. So hooray for free, right? So a lot of what we do is helping entrepreneurs take their idea. So let's say you want to start a trucking company. So oftentimes we'll get an entrepreneur that comes to us and they have this passion for this business, but they don't know all the behind the scenes business stuff, right? And entrepreneurship, it's not an easy thing, as I think a lot of people can attest to. So we're there to meet you and kind of help you through those processes because it can be very overwhelming. So a lot of what we do is bring you through that journey of that startup process. So figuring out what your business is and what your goals are primarily. And from there we can work with you through those stages of startup. So like it was mentioned, so first taking a look at structuring your business, whether that's a sole proprietor or incorporation. And there's various factors to determine that, maybe it's the risk of your business or what have you. We can certainly work through that with you. And from there, maybe it's helping you develop a business plan or using our databases to generate market research so you can make informed decisions, right? When you're creating your business plan and you're going to Paul over here at RBC to get that loan, or maybe it's incorporating your business, we can help you through that journey. And if there's a question we can answer, we have a fairly extensive network, and that's part of our duty too, is to ensure that you have the resources and skills at your disposal that you can then leverage throughout your journey of entrepreneurship. So, connecting with RBC or the Regina Chamber or hosts here tonight, we realize that we're only a small piece of this puzzle, and I think we'll talk about collaboration later, but we realize we're a piece of that, and we want to start you off on the right path, because there could be a lot of opportunities for trip-ups and hurdles further down the line, so if we can put you on the right path to begin, that's our goal.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you so much. So at what point do you push out the companies and say, here you go, we've done our part, you're no longer a startup?
Yeah, good question. So typically it's once they're operational, but really we still assist businesses that have been operating for a few years. So sometimes we'll have someone come to us, they've been a solopreneur for maybe 3 years, and they say, hey, we want to hire our first employee. How do we go about doing that, right? So we'll help them through that process. Or, hey, we're looking at expanding to a larger facility. I want to get connected with a commercial realtor, this or that expert. So really, we're always there along the journey. We'll never kick you out. Definitely our services may be geared to a certain stage of business, but I always say, reach out to us. The worst that can happen is, sorry, we don't know, but we'll connect you.
Excellent, thank you very much. Tony, I'll turn to you here. Are there any industries or sectors in Saskatchewan that you see a potential for growth in? And looking at this room of absolutely brilliant minds, have you in your conversations or engagements, because I know that you're in a lot of engagements, have you found that there are certain sectors or industries that a group like this would likely benefit from, or that you just see that the future is bright in this area? And agriculture is an example. We all know that. Atari Foods is it's in the agricultural sector in some fashion. So yeah, just wanted to know a little bit about where you see the Saskatchewan economy going and what potential for growth exists.
There seems to be a real need for ag tech right now and a real passion for it, for growth. And you can see that Saskatchewan is home to that with the canola crushing plants coming to Regina and the other type of plants looking to be here. So I think there's an agricultural component. There's also a service component. So with those, there's going to be a need for trucking. There's going to be a need for people that are exporting. And with that, then there's going to be a need to grow other services. As our community grows, we're going to need more small grocery stores. We're going to need more small retailers. And I think from a chamber standpoint, we'll pick up where you leave off and have our membership help people taking that next step. And maybe there's a partnership there, or there's an opportunity for people that have been in business for a while in Saskatchewan looking to hand off that business because that family business, the sons and daughters don't want to do it. So, excuse me, I think there's an opportunity for new Canadians to come in and learn from existing businesses and then take over those businesses as well. So it's not just new businesses, but I think there's the opportunity to grow current businesses as well.
Amazing. Thank you very much. I hope you're taking notes. Trucking, ag tech. Well, so write all of those ideas down. Talk to Stefan. Talk to Paul. She can mentor you. I'm a lawyer. You have a team.
The dream team.
Thank you so much.
Just to add to what Tony said about the taking over existing businesses. Now, we've seen a lot of transactions where existing businesses are being bought out, owners of existing businesses are being bought out by their employees. There is a huge opportunity there. So I know of a particular case, a guy joined the company, worked there for 7 years, and now he owns 30% of that company. And we are in a succession plan with them right now to pay the initial shareholder out in the next 5 years. So there is huge opportunities, you know. You could start as an employee with a small business and then work your way to owning that business, right? Commercial real estate, residential real estate, CMHC has a mandate to create affordable housing. Regina is growing, right? You could come talk to me, I can explain the program to you, and we can sort of finance it.
Paul is just like, come talk to me, come talk to me.
Over lunch, right?
Over lunch. So
really, the reason why I
Right.
say you should come talk to me is this. There's no business is the same, right? You can't use the information you learn about a business owner and how he's running his business. You can't use that information to run your business. Businesses are different, even if you're in the same industry. So let's have a conversation and we will determine what suits you best, what works for you, and then advise you accordingly. And I don't charge by the hour.
okay, I did not hear that, but okay, no, I really do like that, Paul. I like the fact that you're telling people to be aware of the opportunities right underneath their noses. If you work with a small business owner, if you work at a restaurant, if you work with a grocery store owner, do not undermine the opportunities there. First, the ability to learn, to grow. Second, the ability to potentially be the succession plan depending on your passion for that business or that industry. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate that, addition. Paul's calendar is now full for the next 2 months because he's going to be having lunches every day for the next 2 months, but we'll connect, Paul. Ronke, I want to talk about a conversation that I hope that we still have the attention of everybody. I'm trying to avoid small groups congregating. In particular, there's a group to my left there. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. There's room at the back. Thanks. I'm sorry, but thank you. Ronke, I want to talk about the elephant in the room. This morning, one of my colleagues had an experience that was horrible. She got a call from somebody, a member of the public, and she was trying to explain the situation and the law and a couple of things to them. And at some point, the person said, "What do you even know about the law? Do you comply with the law where you come from?" So this is a white person on the phone with a visible minority who has an accent. And then further said that, "Go back to where you come from," and there was a third comment. So discrimination is real in this community. I have had my fair share of people asking, "Can I talk to the lawyer?" Well, I am the lawyer. Well, can I? Oh no, there was one third thing. My lawyers will call you, and when they call you, transfer them to somebody that speaks English. That was the third comment that person made. So I have experienced my fair share of discrimination. It's horrible. It's painful. Ronke here talked about how she's been here for 20 years. She's built a life here. She was a teenager when she moved here. This is her home. And not a single person has a right to tell her that she doesn't deserve the right to be here. So Ronke, you've built a business that I would say is successful and is growing, and I'm incredibly proud of you. In the process, you've dealt with different stakeholders. You've dealt with facility managers. You've dealt with the suppliers. You've dealt with, the banks, maybe. And maybe you were not talking to Paul.
Paul, lunch on Tuesday?
His calendar is full.
I'm first in line.
So let's talk about this. What has been, and you said it. There was an opportunity to hear you talk for 15 minutes, and there were 3 things you said: lack of capital, lack of networking opportunities, and leveraging those opportunities. But the first thing you said was discrimination. Can you help me unpack that?
Okay. An elephant. I said elephant in the room, right? I don't like having conversations about discrimination. And I don't think anybody does, right? Because it's uncomfortable. You have friends. You don't want to make your friends feel uncomfortable. You don't want it to look like you're blaming anybody for anything. But at the end of the day, discrimination happens for a host of reasons, right? Like there are people who are not knowledgeable enough. There are people still living in the 1700s. There are people who just hate anything that looks like advancement. So I think it is good to acknowledge that discrimination exists, but like I always say, thrive we must. It's not an option. Regardless of what is going on, regardless of the whispers, regardless of people constantly making you feel like you're the token person in the room, we must thrive. But I would say this, right? And I think that it comes back to the stakeholders. It comes back to the decision makers. I used to work at the city of Regina, in the finance department. And there were a lot of quotas that the city would meet, right? They would meet their diversity and inclusion. And I don't want to talk about diversity and inclusion because I would just talk all night. They would meet their diversity and inclusion quotas. They would meet all of these quotas. But you hire people who probably have more education than 99% of your department, and you never give them the opportunity to use that education or advance in that role. That is not an opportunity, that is imprisonment. If you know that you are not ready to be an inclusive organization where everyone has equal opportunities to excel, then you're not ready. I will say that when I was working in municipal government, Yoruba people have this saying, and I will try to explain it to people that maybe don't understand. They say that there are some people that are so slow that if you give them a bottle, that the bottom is already a full circle, and you tell them to use any object, including the bottle, to draw a full circle, they would not be able to do it. That's what Yoruba people say. You go into these places where you see people that are not able to draw a full circle with a circular object that is placed in front of them, and they continue to advance. And you see somebody who has a master's degree, who has gone to school in the United States of America, they've gone to school in the UK, they have brilliant ideas, they have new ideas, and they are unable to advance simply because they do not, go to the lake house with person B, or they do not golf. I am sorry, I cannot golf. I have 2 children, I have to take care of them. Not everyone has the opportunity to network the way we network here. So maybe networking for somebody who is working in an accounting firm is going out for beer. A lot of immigrants that are coming in are probably not coming from cultures where drinking is a thing that you do for socialization. That is already something that is holding them back, and that shouldn't be. Your talent should be what advances you, not your ability to drink beer. So, as we look at discrimination, and as organizations and decision makers think about meeting a diversity and inclusion quota, I would say that you shouldn't meet those quotas only to hold people back. If you're not ready to give equal opportunities, then forget about your quotas. Yeah, that's it.
I feel like I need water. You unpacked a lot, Ronke, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about this night, is that we can all come together and have this conversation and talk about some of these challenges. Oh my goodness, the one time the mayor is probably going to serve me. I'm here, I'm waiting. Oh my goodness, is my husband ready with the camera? Thank you so much. I just had my 1 second of fame. Oh my God. As anybody that's in government, where we come from, ever. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ronke. You unpacked a lot there, and I'm so grateful that you shared that. Thank you. We need to be in rooms like this. We need to share ideas about how to network our own way. We can't throw a pity party, and we cannot just expect change to happen without advocating that change, without being the change. And so I'm incredibly proud of everybody that's taking the time tonight to be here. Please give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you. Tony, I want to talk about, I want to piggyback on what Ronke said. about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I know that the Chamber of Commerce just started a DEI committee, and I know that that was birthed out of a need for it, to be a forward-thinking organization. Because the Chamber advocates, and I'm sorry, I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot here. Because the Chamber advocates for businesses, and by extension, the well-being of the people of Regina and environs. So by Regina, that would mean White City, Pilot Butte, every Regina and district, but Regina plus all of the neighboring places. How can you take this message back to the stakeholders? What are you going to do with what Ronke has shared? And some of the things you may have heard from your members. What opportunity is there to be able to express some of these concerns? Is this something that the Chamber can help with? And what does that look like? How do you advocate for us?
Thank you for that question and your story. It's very real. And I want to thank Prairie's Can, who's a sponsor of this event, and also a sponsor of the Regina and District Chamber of Commerce, that's helping us put our diversity and inclusion strategy together, and it allows us to find ways to do the networking properly. There's nothing more frustrating than companies that say they have a diversity strategy and they use it to check a box, right? Oh, we've got this many employees, or we've done this many events. To me, that's not a true diversity strategy. That strategy needs to be inclusive. It needs to bring people together to share like we're doing tonight, to make sure that we're blending the cultures together and enjoying something over food and drink, or what is that networking event going to look like that makes sure that everybody benefits from it. So it's not beers after work or going to a Rough Rider game, but it's something that everybody can participate in and grow. And from a chamber standpoint, that's why we started this committee, and we wanted to make sure that we were doing it right, and that we were really, truly helping the business community understand diversity, inclusion, and because when I spoke today, I truly believe that's the growth of our city. That's the future of our city. And when I say our city, that's us. Everybody in this room. We are the future. You are the business leaders that are going to make Regina and continue to make Regina great. And what's going to happen is that friends and family are going to come from other countries and be here because they feel it's a comfortable and safe place to, one, start a business, because Paul's going to give them all the money they need.
That's right.
And that they can have a comfortable life here. And let's get rid of that discrimination piece one step at a time, so that you don't get those phone calls and you don't feel that you're not being promoted because you don't go for cocktails after work, but you're being promoted because you're the best person for the job.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to add to that. I do know that a couple of months ago, I believe it was Nigerian businesses, or it may have been black businesses generally. There was an opportunity to connect with the mayor, and that was a brilliant gathering. Remember that, Tony? That was an absolutely brilliant gathering. And somebody asked a question or made a comment at that gathering that was quite eye-opening. The person did say, as visible minorities, we as ethnic people, like, everybody is ethnic to a certain degree, but based on our ethnicities, we do have meals that we like to eat. And everybody commended, and even the mayor commended the jollof rice we had tonight. Can we give a round of applause to the host and the chef and everybody, every member of the kitchen staff for putting that beautiful meal together? And somebody had a question about having events at the conference centers in hotels. And the fact that the chef may not be able to make your meal, and you cannot bring your meals in. And so we are stuck with mashed potatoes, no offense, and chicken breast that's not well marinated, if you know what I mean, and not spicy enough. And gravy, which is fantastic, but... And veggies, which were meat lovers. We would take meat over the veggies. So somebody had a question of what can happen there, you know, and I believe one of the takeaways from that conversation was the chamber possibly having a meeting or discussion with the hotel association to see what they can do and how they can be more accommodating, how they can be more receptive, and how they can be more inclusive. I do not know the status of that yet. And Tony, we can take this offline. But I just wanted to share that as an example of a way that the chamber can support ideas and can help this community to be a stronger community. So I wanted to share that idea, and whoever asked that question or made that comment at that gathering, thank you to them. But that's an example of ways that gathering like this can actually help us to create a stronger community for ourselves. I'm not sure if people have questions, but if you do have questions, now would be the time to either raise a hand. Okay, I've got a couple of comments in the back. I think somebody did help collect comments. And
Wara, to answer your question, we have got a list of venues that are welcoming to have catering brought in. And so we have actually gone to some of those because we feel that there needs to be opportunities to share in cultural food and beverage. And if you remember when we had our board meeting at Microwage, we did have Nigerian food catered in for us.
yes, sounds good. That's true. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm going to take the questions, but I just want every member of this panel to have an opportunity to... Okay. I just want you to know that you would each get a minute for your elevator pitch. We already know Paul's elevator pitch by now. But there'll be just maybe a minute or two at the end of this for you to just share your key message. Or just like your major takeaway, or whatever you want to leave the audience with. And I know that based on our practice, there were, well, not practice, but just our prior discussions, we should have had more questions. But I think this is organic and this is enjoyable. I hope it is to you. So we're just thank you. So we're just going to go through the questions very quickly here. There's a question here directed to Stefan. So if there's a specific question directed to each person, I'll read that. Do you help with grant guide? Pretty much how to get a grant and where to get a grant.
Yeah, good question. So I would say part of that process we can assist you with. So we offer a lot at Startup Institute, but the one thing we don't do is give out money, whether that's grants or lending. However, we can support you in where to find the money. Where can you find the money, whether it's grants or lending? So that's a process we can certainly help you through, and we can provide resources and tools to help you through that process. Unfortunately, we don't have the capacity to be there with you and write the grant with you. However, again, we can connect you with professionals who do that day in and day out, and who are more knowledgeable in that area, and we can connect you with them. But we can certainly point you in the direction of where you can access that, absolutely.
Thank you. I like your response, short and sweet. This is what the question card looks like. So if you still have questions, please feel free to put those down. Question for Ronke. What is your perspective on how discrimination can be used as a crutch in today's society or generation? How can we do our best to not let it limit us or our fellow human? I guess this person's question is, how can we just, get ahead? And I think you touched on that a little bit, but if you wanted to answer this person's question, that would be nice.
Yeah, shine bright like a diamond, like Rihanna said, right? I think that a lot of us are afraid to talk about what we are doing. I struggle with that a lot. Like I come from a culture of respect. You don't speak when your elder is speaking. You don't speak when your manager is speaking. You don't talk about the mistake. Shine. If you have an opportunity to talk about the work that you're doing, if you have an opportunity to talk about the contribution that you're making in an organization, whatever opportunity you have to take credit for your work I would say do that, because sometimes it might be the person that is supposed to be, say, a manager that's supposed to be passing on your work that is maybe passing it on, or whatever it is, or not even giving you the credit that you deserve. So I would say that any opportunity that you have to let your work shine and to let your work speak, then take that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Ronke. And I'm going to add to that very quickly. You are your own biggest advocate. You're your own biggest cheerleader, right? So if you're looking to somebody, a mentor, a friend, a boss, to help you get to the next level, but you are not championing that, then you're out to lunch. So be your biggest cheerleader, be your biggest advocate. And it's scary. It's very scary, especially because of this self-limiting belief and the culture of respect that we have. We don't want to brag about ourselves. But sometimes you just have to look in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm doing well and I'm proud of myself. And I'm going to share that with people and tell that to anybody that cares to listen. Tell it to your kid, say it to your mom, say it to your sister. Over time, say it to your friends. You know, I'm actually quite proud that I was able to do X, Y, and Z. And over time, it becomes natural and more organic for you to share your accomplishments, and then you'll be able to actually share those in rooms that matter, where you will be able to advocate for yourself because you are your own biggest champion. Tony, thank you. Tony, what are some of the ways that the Chamber is working to close the gap between Black businesses and the larger Regina and Saskatchewan community?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we offer is networking and getting people in the same room to have discussions like we're having today. And so I would invite you to make sure that you come, check our website, come to our networking events, and meet other like-minded businesses and people who are looking to succeed in businesses. Saskatchewan's really a warm community, and there's a lot of people that are willing to help and give you advice and even some mentorship to grow your business.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much. I'm mindful of time, and I know that some people would like to ask questions live as well, possibly. I'm not sure. Yinka, how are we doing for time? How much more minutes do we have?
I think we can go probably 5 more minutes and then we'll wrap up.
Okay. 5 more minutes.
I'm happy to stay around too if you have any questions about the Regina Chamber offline to ask and have a coffee or water. Or go for lunch, yeah. Paul's buying lunch.
Yeah. I'm happy to chat, but I don't know if I can do lunch every day, but yeah.
Okay, great. So, okay, this is just a comment. Great. Regarding how hotels and restaurants can prepare our food, especially jollof rice, they can get Atari to supply ingredients or the sauce. Give it up for Ronke. Hey. Thank you so much to this person. Hopefully there's a stakeholder in the room or somebody that has a hotel or knows somebody that has a hotel or restaurant. But yeah, Atari is your sure plug for everything West African meals. Oh, that sounded nice.
Don't charge me.
Okay, Stefan, I think this would be for you. And then Ronke, if you can chime in as well. You've got 30 seconds each. How can we encourage young Africans to go into the startup world? Who wants to go first?
How can we? I would say I'm a big believer in seeking discomfort. That's a big thing for me, and all the best things in life are outside of your comfort zone. So I would say there's no mold for entrepreneurship. You're never too young for entrepreneurship. And I think as maybe a quote-unquote young person myself, there's always this fear of failure. And failure just is kind of like this poison inside of you and just keeps you from pushing beyond your boundaries. And I would just encourage you, entrepreneurship is a great place to fail. Of course, like, you don't want it to happen, but it's a natural place to do it, and you can learn so much. So I would really encourage you just to go for it. It doesn't have to be this mega huge business. It can be that side hustle, starting with something small, and you move on to something else. So I would say just give something a go, try it out, and like Tony's mentioned, like networking is a really big piece of that. When you're around people who are also in entrepreneurship and have that same love and passion, it gets you going a little bit more. So I'll keep it there.
Thank you, Stefan. Ronke.
I completely agree, and I would say start small. It doesn't have to be something big. It could a lemonade stand in the summertime. I think a lot of people probably have connection to that. So start small, start getting them into things that make them comfortable with selling their ideas and selling themselves. Because again, like Wura said, you're your own biggest advocate. So even if it's like a communications class, or if it's, I don't know, videos for YouTube, or whatever it is that you're comfortable with as a parent, start small, get them into things that make them feel comfortable, and I think it will naturally come from there.
Laura, can I also just add to that if you're networking or meeting people in your that have also started businesses or have been in business for a while, they're willing to share the mistakes they made, and it'll lessen the mistakes that you have to go through, or the pains that you have to go through. So don't be afraid to ask questions. People are welcoming, especially the business community. They love to talk business, especially over lunch, right, Paul?
I would just echo that. I find Saskatchewan's one of the greatest places for entrepreneurs wanting to share and give back. So,
Thank you both. I think this question is answered. Somebody is asking, and anybody that wants to take this, but you've got 30 seconds. How do you find good business mentors, especially as a young student? I feel like people look down on my small beginning.
Give me a call. We'll find somebody to chat with you.
Excellent, excellent. Whoever that person is, reach out to the Chamber of Commerce. My question goes to Ronke. I'm new to Saskatchewan. In your talk that you were working for a company, I'm sorry, can you please tell us why you left your job?
Honestly, I enjoyed my job. I got to a place where I was comfortable enough to champion myself. I was comfortable enough to dive into things. So I didn't leave my job because I was unhappy. Okay, maybe I was unhappy with the number of meetings that we had. That could have been emails. But I enjoyed my job and I felt like I was contributing. But it got to a point where I was running a business that was successful and it needed more of my attention. So that's why I left. I was able to replace my salary. I was able to do that on my own time. It was really just time for me to leave. But yeah, I think that answers it.
Excellent, thank you so much. And the person is asking about your journey and about starting. So I'm just going to tell them to follow you on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter. That's all, right?
Her social numbers are about to skyrocket after this event.
Absolutely. So this question is for Stefan. Wura asked about how your enterprise, how your organization supports Black businesses and their finances when it deals with PST and GST. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, we're here for all entrepreneurs, no matter your background, expertise, we're here for you. When it comes to GST, PST, all that sort of stuff, we have a team of advisors that are knowledgeable and can work you through what that process looks like. But again, a lot of our work, like there's tons of expertise out there, so we don't really want to recreate stuff that's there. It's about connecting you with those experts. So there's tons of experts when it comes to taxation, whether PST, GST. For example, I just had a call the other night. There's CRA liaisons that are willing to meet with you for free to talk about anything the CRA touches, whether it's GST or payroll or anything like that. So there's services like that available, and we can be those people to connect you to those experts.
Excellent, thank you so much. So I'm going to give each person their 1 minute to just like share their key message or any last words to the audience, starting with you, Paul.
So I've already...
Oh, I'm sorry, somebody's raising a hand over there, right? Actually, two. Would you kindly keep it short and we can take your questions. Yinka, please. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed the conversation. Sorry, I thought this was a networking event, so it'd be good to have the opportunity to shine like a diamond and introduce myself. So my name is Jade, a co-founder of a skincare startup called Uncover. It's a VC-backed startup, currently at Series A funding. I have just moved to Regina about 6 months ago. So I'm really keen to just understand what the startup ecosystem looks like in Regina. I've come from Nairobi, where there's a buzzing, startup ecosystem. So what does that look like? Where do you find like investors, guys in the startup, I guess, community, and do we have funding for not just like, loans, but then, investor funding for Black startups?
Yeah, great question. I'm from Saskatoon, so I know that ecosystem a little bit more, but there's definitely a great entrepreneurship ecosystem here in Regina, and definitely if you're in that tech scene, and congrats on Series A, that's huge. So if you're looking to get into that space, a great organization is Startup TNT, so they're an angel investment organization, and a big motto of theirs is make friends and have fun. And it's just a great organization to get connected with other entrepreneurs in that tech space. And they also have a great connection to that angel investor network, so Startup T would be great. And there is definitely an ecosystem of VCs here in Saskatchewan, definitely not what it is in other provinces, but it's getting better. But there's great tech incubators as well in Saskatchewan. So you have Cultivator here in Regina, CoLabs in Saskatoon, and they often put on great networking opportunities and events, and just getting connected with them, they have a massive network of VCs that they can connect you with and be part of that community. So those would be a few organizations I would suggest, yeah.
Thank you so much, Stefan. Do we have a second question? I believe I saw a second hand. No? Okay, your last words to this beautiful group today.
I'm just trying to summarize everything, but the key thing I want you all to take away is do not underestimate the relationships you build. You were talking about elevator speech. I've done a lot of coaching for elevator speech, and it never works for me because it sounds like I'm making a sale, right? When you're connecting with people, build genuine relationships. Do not underestimate the relationships you're building because they could help you in your journey as an entrepreneur.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, I would echo relationships are huge, especially in Saskatchewan. This is tough. I would say it's never too late for entrepreneurship. Give it a try. You'd be pleasantly surprised. It can be small, it can be big. And at SAS Startup Institute, we just want to get to know you as a person first and foremost. And from there, we want to help you get that idea to the place you want it to be. So I'm always happy to chat with my colleague here, Kate, as well. I think we're hovering around table 17, or we have a booth outside. We're always happy to chat, and we want to hear your idea, right? We want to see what you got going on. So I'll leave it there. Happy to have a chat, maybe not over lunch every day, but we'll get there.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you so much. Ronke?
I would say that be confident in yourself. Understand that good things most times take time. And the fact that it's not happening for you as quickly as you want does not mean that you have failed. There is really no failure in entrepreneurship. You just have lots and lots of opportunities to learn, apply, and grow.
Thank you, Ronke.
From a chamber standpoint, we want to make diversity work. What I need from you guys is to either reach out to myself, Wara, or Yinka, and tell us what type of networking events you want. That's the type of networking events that you feel are going to make you a successful business owner, a successful entrepreneur. What can we do to help you on that journey? What type of work, so it's not beers after work, but what are those networking events that we can facilitate and bring everybody in the business community together? So I'm looking for you for advice to help the chamber be better at what it does.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. It has been a huge honor and privilege of mine to be able to moderate this wonderful session. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony, Ronke, Stefan, Paul, thank you.
to creatives especially, and then also just the way they came on board to support our event and opening up an opportunity for the community at large, the creative community, to attend this event. So we thank you, Creatives Saskatchewan. Thank you to Scotia and your commitment and reputation in empowering Black businesses and entrepreneurs and in helping us with our event by financially contributing. And then we also want to thank the following Black-owned business who sponsored this event for our Black Administrative sponsorship. To SMG Cell Media, your expertise in advertising, events, experiential management, corporate brand identity, and digital marketing is really invaluable. We want to thank you for elevating our events and amplifying our message by single-handedly running the digital marketing for the BBNE event for 2024. If you saw an ad, it was through them, and through them, they really just were really amazing in helping us. So thank you so much, Cell Media. To InfoPlace Canada, your specialization in Canadian immigration and education services speaks volumes about your commitment to facilitating opportunities for advancement and growth in Canadian communities. Thank you, InfoPlace Canada, for your support. To Lagos African Kitchenette, your dedication to offering the best in West African and Nigerian cuisine here in Regina really adds richness and diversity to our city. To Afro Exchange Global, your provision of integrated IT business solutions and managed services really exemplifies excellence, innovation, and technology as a Black business here in Regina. Thank you for your endeavor and also supporting us with your generous gift of the web development services. To all our community-based sponsors, Regina Public Library, UCB Media, SK Startup Institute, Saskatchewan Heritage African Music Center, to Kenny Lassisi for our beautiful painting donations you made, and for everyone who supported us before and during the event. We really look forward to ongoing partnership beyond today. I want to thank our young Black entrepreneurs who are represented here today, and for Blasting Sask as represented here. Thank you. To each one of you, if I left anyone out, please bear with me. We appreciate you all, and your generosity and support has not gone unnoticed. You've not only contributed to the success of this event, but also invested in the future of Black small and medium enterprises. We thank you to all our sponsors. And now we're going to move to the final vote of thanks. Just to thank our volunteers. Thank you so much for all you did to support and the success of the event. Thank you so much. To our panelist speakers, thank you for lending your wisdom and for everything you shared today. To our MC Vivian, who has done an amazing job tonight. You've been amazing. She's been outstanding. Generously offering your time to address the success of tonight's event. Thank you. And finally, I would like to make an honorary mention and just thanking our Coalition of Black SMEs team. Can everyone in the team please just stand in their way? Leon, to remember more. If you're here, and so people who couldn't make it because they're out of the country or out of town actually, we want to mention Viola Lalonde, Cassandra, Leko Ajao. These people are really out of the country. Leko Ajao, our advisors, Mr. Caleb Udukwe, thank you so much. Dami Egayemi, these are people who've been with us throughout the journey. Chika Izala Listen, also out of town, to Mrs. Jumokero Oni, to Kingsley, Tola Jao, to Baba Tuni. We thank you so much for lending your wisdom and just being with us through this journey. This event could not have happened without the dedication of this team at all. And most especially, I want to say big thank you. We want to say big thank you to our lead, Yinka Adegoye. Can we get it? Stand up. Some people might say I'm being biased because that's my husband, but I've seen him work tirelessly. I've seen him just work tirelessly. And I know our sponsors, anyone who had contact with him would agree that he just had a passion that he was like a dog with a bone when it comes to putting out this cause and really just helping. And it's been in close proximity to him. I just see just his drive to continue in this. And when things got tough, life did get tough over the last couple of months for us, and he didn't relent. He stayed focused and just kept going, and just connected with people in the community. And so we just want to thank you so much for leading us and for just being amazing through this at all. He put his money where his mouth was, and when he had those months at first, he kept going and going. To take many roles to ensure
did everything that involves event setup. So I do want a round of applause and if possible, standing ovation for him, please, because he was so amazing. Thank you. And then finally to our attendees, especially guys who are still here. Please, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here and spending your time and your money to attend today. And we really do appreciate you all for being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time to express your gratitude. There's nothing that happens in our community without the hands of so many different people, oftentimes on the sides of their desks as people maintain their family lives, their full-time jobs, and are still able to make time to still reach out and create opportunities for things like this to happen. So as well in recognizing that this is not only about the present, but also the future, we also wanted to, and on behalf of a lot of the young people that are in this room, and for you creating that space for us to be able to look up to you and look up to, again, the legacy that you're creating in our province. I just wanted to thank you as well. So we just have a little token of our thanks that we wanted to share with you and just recognize as well what you're starting and what you'll continue to be building within our province of Saskatchewan. So thank you again so much. So one round of applause here. And that brings us to the end of our evening. So we want to again thank everyone so much for making the time out on your Friday evening to join us with the Coalition of Black, Small, and Medium-Sized Enterprises here for the first Black Business Networking event. We hope this is the first of many amazing events to come. Please stay in touch and have a good evening.
All right, welcome ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Adiola St. Matthew Daniel, and you already know we are here today at the Black Business Networking event. It's the 2024 edition of the Black Business Networking event. Thank you all for coming out, and I hope you have a great time. See you there.